the ghost fleet of the Great Lakes and the treasure that vanished. Imagine a time when the Great Lakes, those shimmering inland seas bordering 8 American states, were not just vacation spots, but the superhighway of American industry. Before the trains and the interstate system, the fortunes of Chicago, Detroit, and Cleveland were built on the backs of thousands of wooden ships navigating these vast, cruel waters. And in one terrible decade, over 1,500 of them vanished, leaving behind a profound and bewildering mystery that still haunts the rust-stained shores. This is the true story of the Ghost Fleet and the colossal fortune swallowed by Lake Superior, focusing on one of its most astonishing and frustrating secrets, the disappearance of a legendary treasure ship known only as the Griffon. The King's Gambit and the First Mystery. Our story begins in 1679, a full century before the United States even existed. The players are Robert Cavelier, Sir de La Salle, a French explorer of audacious ambition, and the wild, untamed frontier of North America. La Salle was determined to stake France's claim not just to the Mississippi River, but to the entire continent, and he knew he needed a ship, a true warship, to project power on the Great Lakes. He commissioned the construction of Le Griffon, or the Griffon, near present-day Buffalo, New York. It was a 45-ton, 2-masted brigantine armed with 7 cannons, a formidable vessel in that era. For the indigenous people and European fur traders in the region, seeing this magnificent swan-necked ship glide across the waves must have been utterly astonishing. It was the first ship of its kind to ever sail the upper Great Lakes. In August 1679, the Griffon set sail on its maiden voyage. La Salle's plan was simple: sail to what is now Green Bay, Wisconsin, trade cheap French goods for a fortune in beaver pelts, the soft gold of the 17th century, and return to his base to fund his great expedition down the Mississippi. The first part of the plan was a stunning success. The Griffon reached Green Bay, loaded up with a cargo of pelts so valuable it was estimated to be worth 60,000 livres, a staggering sum at the time, equivalent to millions today. On September 18, 1679, La Salle's trusted pilot, a man named Luke, was ordered to sail the precious cargo back to Niagara, while La Salle continued his exploration by canoe. The Griffon sailed out onto Lake Michigan, destined for history. It was never seen again. La Salle spent years searching and holding out hope. Every rumor was chased down, every local account cross-examined. Did the local native tribes, weary of French intrusion, sink it? Was it a mutiny? Was it caught in one of the sudden, violent fetch storms that can whip the lakes into a frenzy? The Griffon, the first, most famous, and most valuable Great Lakes shipwreck, had simply vanished with its multi-million-dollar treasure. It became the lake's foundational ghost story. The Age of Wooden Giants and the Great Losses. Fast forward 200 years to the mid-19th century. America is booming. The steel mills of Pittsburgh need iron ore. The logging camps of Michigan need to move their timber. The farms of the Midwest need to ship their grain. This is the era of the wooden bulk carrier, massive triple-masted schooners that could carry 1,000 tons of cargo, crewed by hardy immigrants and veterans of the sea. This is when the sheer scale of the Ghost Fleet disaster truly emerges. Between 1878 and 1897, the Great Lakes maritime industry reached its peak, and so did the carnage. According to the United States Life-Saving Service, the predecessor to the Coast Guard, the official tally of wrecks during this period is astonishing. Over 1,500 major vessels were lost, taking thousands of lives. Why such a horrific toll? The lake's unique fury. The Great Lakes are relatively shallow compared to the ocean, meaning storm waves are short, steep, and break violently, often snapping the spines of wooden ships. Sudden shifts. Winds can shift from calm to gale force in under 30 minutes, leaving ships no time to seek harbor. Ice. Late-season storms can coat a ship in tons of freezing spray, making it top-heavy and unstable, a disaster known as foundering. Overinsurance and risk. Many vessels were old, poorly maintained, and heavily insured. Ship owners often push their captains to take enormous risks, sailing in foul weather or late in the season, knowing that a total loss meant a major insurance payout. The deadliest year was 1880, when an estimated 383 ships were lost in a single navigation season. Ship graveyards like the treacherous waters near the Manitou Islands, Michigan, the Straits of Mackinac, and the dreaded Graveyard of the Pacific off Lake Superior's Whitefish Point became infamous. The preserved time capsules. Unlike the corrosive salt water of the ocean, the cold, fresh water of the Great Lakes is a phenomenal preservative. The wrecks aren't just heaps of broken wood, they are historical time capsules, astonishingly preserved by the frigid depths. Divers have found the E.B. Allen, lost 1871. Found standing upright on the bottom of Lake Huron, its mast still pointing towards the surface, as if ready to sail. The New York. Divers recovered barrels of perfectly preserved butter and cheese that tasted fine despite spending over a century underwater. The Comet, lost 1875. The wreck looks like it sank yesterday, with its original tools, galley equipment, and the captain's logbook, sometimes even readable. This preservation means the Ghost Fleet is not just a historical footnote. It is one of the greatest submerged museum complexes in the world, offering an unparalleled, chilling look at 19th century American commerce and tragedy. The enduring mystery of the lost first ship. The most compelling aspect, however, remains the Griffon. For centuries, the search for the first ghost ship has driven explorers mad. The ship's location is considered the holy grail of Great Lakes wreck hunting, a multi-million-dollar treasure tied to a powerful, singular place in American history. Over the last 150 years, dozens of ships have been falsely identified as the Griffon. In 2013, an exploration team announced they had found a piece of timber in Lake Michigan near Poverty Island that they believed was from the ship. It was a massive oak beam with hand-chiseled mortises, clearly very old. State authorities intervened, worried about commercial salvage. The subsequent investigation revealed an agonizing twist. Radiocarbon dating confirmed the timber was from the correct century, 1600s, but they could not definitively prove it was the Griffon. It was incredibly close, yet still frustratingly ambiguous. The wreck itself remains elusive. The true location of LaSalle's treasure, the millions in beaver pelts, is still unknown, resting somewhere in the 94,000 square miles of water that define the upper Great Lakes. The story of the Ghost Fleet is the story of America's industrial might forged through incredible human cost. It is a tale of 1,500 ships that sailed with the hopes and fortunes of a young nation, only to be swallowed by freshwater seas. And at the heart of it all lies the oldest, most valuable, and most elusive mystery: the whereabouts of the Griffon and its forgotten soft gold treasure.